of my favorite digital resources. All of these are used on Google Slides. They are perfect for distance learning or using them in the classroom. So all of them have to deal with roll dice. So this roll dice button is already added into all of the slides, so you don't need to add anything extra. So for this first slide, it's a fiction read and roll, so they just have to read a chapter set or a fiction book, and then they click roll dice at the top. It will pop up with what they rolled, so they rolled a 3, so they need to answer this question: what was your favorite part of the story and why? So scroll down here on the side to I rolled a 3, and then there's an option right here to type right into the box. I also added this in the speaker notes. Make sure you're answering in complete sentences and don't forget capitals and punctuation. This fiction read and roll is free on my Teacher Pay Teacher store if you want to check it out. Here's another one, very similar, nonfiction. So this can be done with articles or nonfiction books. Same idea, but different reading responses. So roll dice. They rolled a 5. So then they'd scroll down here to the number 5 and type right in the slide. This one is one of my favorites. Teachers do need to do a little bit of front work. So there is a teacher instruction slide that gets deleted before you share it with your students. But there is a spot here for teachers to type in the spelling word list. And then they have different activities on the side to do with their spelling words. So I gave some student instructions about like font choice and size and all of that information that might be useful. So students roll the dice and type that spelling word that many times for this one. So they would roll the dice, they rolled a 4, so their spelling word, whatever it was, they would type that spelling word 4 times in the box. If they need to look back at their spelling list again, there's a little prompt here to bring them back to the spelling list slide. This one is font size, so they would roll the dice, and depending on what they roll, that's what size font they would use when they are typing that in. So here. Next one is rainbow spelling, so they would roll the dice and they would just type their spelling word regularly here, and then depending on what number they rolled, they would choose that color to type it. This one is fancy font, so they would type their spelling word regularly here, and then based on whatever they rolled, so you rolled a 2, so the font that you would use for 2 is Comic Sans, so you would find it here. I have another fancy font, part 2, same idea but different fonts. This one is word roll spelling, so depending on what you roll, there are different prompts for it. So write your spelling word in a sentence, insert a picture of your spelling word, write a synonym or antonym, type your spelling word 5 times in a row, type a word that rhymes with your word. And teachers too, you can delete any of these slides that don't work for your class. So if there's not a picture that goes with your particular spelling word, you could just delete this slide over here, and so your students don't have to do it. This one's be creative, so going back to talking about some of these instructions that I gave at the top, they have to write their word bolded, italics, underline, and so on. Again, students can always click here and go back to their list. Next is math, so this is multiplication, roll and solve. I have fact family 0 through 12. So what students do for this one is they roll the dice. They rolled a 5, so they would solve all of the problems in the number 5 column. The very last slide after they go through all of the fact families is they would roll the dice and put that number in the dice spot. So this was a dice. So they would roll a number and put it in that spot and then solve the problem. So same kind of concept with division, fact families 0 through 12 again, and the same idea for the review, just a random list of division problems to solve at the end. Lastly, I have a 2-digit multiplication roll and solve. So for this one, it's very similar to what you just saw for the basic facts. When I scroll down, we've got like a game board where they would roll the dice and move that many pieces and then solve that problem until they get to the end. For this one though, they have to click roll dice and then the 2 dice. So roll dice, 2 dice. They rolled a 62 and 29, so they would type 62 times 29 plus their answer here. I have the instructions in 2 places for this one, at the top and also in the speaker notes. The last one I'm going to show you is kind of like war, where they solve 2 problems, one here and one here, and depending on which one has the bigger sum, they would move the circle over the one that has the biggest sum. So again, they would have to use the roll dice and the 2 dice and solve that problem here, then do it again, solve that problem here. So these are all in my Teacher Pay Teacher store. You can see them here. Again, my fiction read and roll is free, so if you want to check out the dice and see how it works, go ahead and download that one for free.